Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for having me here in South Africa. It's been a wonderful time. Normally my life is about work hard, play hard, but this week it's been play hard, and today I get to work hard. My name is Reggy Cox, I'm 39 years old. Started detailing in 1999. Joined the military in 2001, still did the detailing in between. In my ending career, I even worked a couple of years in a car wash just to experience what it's like to know the aspect of the full automotive cleaning business. 2018, I got to be introduced with Labocosmetica. Worked for a week in Labo just to meet the team and see if this fits. And then in 2019, I started a world tour, doing just what I'm doing today, showing you the awesomeness of the products and making you better detailers and making your life a lot easier. Today we're going to do as much as we can. We have a packed day. I'm going home tonight. I'm still thinking about throwing away my passport for asylum so I can stay forever. But I promise you I'll be back today again, of course, as soon as possible. After the day there will also be, I can imagine, thousands of questions. So feel free to ask anything today. If you think of anything next week whatsoever, I will be available 24/7. So if you want anything, we can collaborate with Gondolier to create a WhatsApp group to get you guys started and make sure you have 100% support. So I'll not leave you here. I'm not here to sell you the products. I'm just a guy that trains, and I'm just like you. I'm a detailer. I'm maybe just 10,000 mistakes ahead in the last 23 years. So maybe I can teach you something. Maybe I hope that you can teach me something today. It would be awesome.
Special eyes and special hands have created masterpieces that are part of our culture. Taking care of these masterpieces takes both special eyes and hands, which is why Labocosmetica exists. Only the best car detailing professionals, people who can see what others cannot. They only use the most advanced cosmetics developed thanks to Labocosmetica's research to restore every detail to its authentic splendor and to protect it almost to the point of making time stand still. Labocosmetica, the best hands for the best cars.
You see here the car, like I said, it's basically organic what you see. You see a little bit of tree crap, I don't know what it is. Got some grit fact right here.
It's a lady's car.
No, the car is pretty dirty. It's pretty dirty. So, does anybody know what their end dilution is in the foam gun? Do you know your end dilution? Because if you have something like this, you put the product in here, you make a dilution in here, 1 to 10. You put it in here, there's one running through. So it's going to be an exponential of what's in the bottle. It's never going to be 1 to 10 what's leaving here. From all the foam guns in the world I use, the best one, if I put pure product in here, the end dilution is 1 to 15. So remind this, foaming is actually very expensive. So you can imagine if I have 1 liter, I can maybe do 2 cars, and if I do it pure, I get a 1 to 15 dilution at the end. So for 1 to 3, 1 to 4, you get maybe 1 to 60, 1 to 80. That's what is actually coming out of the nozzle. So if you have an extremely dirty car, this is not going to be very cost effective, but because the 1 to 60 is probably not going to do it. It's not strong enough. So what you then do is, you take it, because I'm a Dutch guy, you know, we don't like to spend money, I don't want to talk about money, anything. So if you have something like this, when you put 1 to 10 in here, there's 1 to 10 coming out of here. And in a liter, it's going to be like 92 milliliters. You pour it up with the water, and you use this for the highly contaminated parts. It could be anywhere, it could be behind the wheels, it could be in the wheel arches. this is what we're going to spray first. This is going to work for us. This is going to take down the organic residue, organic contamination. After that, the car is being sprayed in. Then I'm going to make a dilution like 1:60 for cycle washes. Cover the whole car. And then what's working on the surface, that foam that's going to come on, is going to be for the less contaminated parts, making like a full cycle. The difference between this and the foam is that this is direct. Once this liquid hits the surface, the ions will start working immediately. In combination with foam, the detergent power is exactly the same. So 1 to 10 in here and 1 to 10 in here is exactly the same. The only thing different is working time. Foam needs time. That's why you let it rest on the surface for as long as possible. But like I said, it's 100% safe. Don't worry, we'll prove it today. It's going to be in sunlight. There's a wrap here. There's something very bad could happen, but it's not. So the dilution first, walk around the car. When this dries, it's not going to be an issue, but it will stop working. Dilutions work best. Pure product doesn't work. Ions need to move. They need to move. That's why you dilute it in the solvent. This solvent we are using today is water. Water is a solvent. So when the ions get freedom of movement, they are more effective on the surface. Much more. If they can't move, and it's a pure product, like a concentrate, a gel, it doesn't work. You would think so, but it's not. This is how chemistry works. I'm so happy the guys taught me this, because I was also a consumer, and I thought if I just, fuck it, I'll pour over the hood. I need to go like this, no? Like I said, I buy everything myself, so I know how it feels when you pay the account. I know how it feels. I pay 54 euros for a bottle of, that's like almost 900 rand for Audacian. That's what I pay myself out of my own pocket, although I can call Italy and get everything for free. But I need to know what it costs, so how it feels. So when it costs really dirty, and I can see the money go away, you know, so I can speak with you and on the same level, you know. Now in my world, I have a phrase, there's no such thing as too much foam. There's no such thing, no such thing. So please, foam like your life depends on it. I can imagine that some of you do the wheels first, but I'm pre-washing the whole car. So this basic pre-wash, it goes on every single surface of the car, 360 degrees. I'm not an engine bay pre-wash kind of a guy, and a high pressure engine bay washing pre-washing kind of a guy, but if you want it, you can do it. Belgian guys do it a lot, they have very much success with it, but I'm a little bit scared. And you can already see that the dirt is coming off. The 1 to 10 dilution is powerful enough to take off this. That's it. Playing around with these products will get you the experience so you know which dilution is going to be more effective. And this is the first time in South Africa. I have no idea what's flying around here, although I think I saw a condor last week in the Netherlands because it was like this splash on the hood, dirt shit on the car. It has to be a condor. It can't be anything else.
What's it called? A hockey dog in South Africa.
So like ook the wheels have also the basic contamination, could be traffic film, so you take the wheels as well. We go inside the wheels with the deionizer after the basic contamination is gone. Because if the much more contamination is gone, the more effective the deionizer will be. If there's too much sand, it's not going to penetrate through. You see, I'm always doing this on a dry car. So I don't care that it's going to dry in. I don't care it's in sunlight because I know it's safe. We didn't do anything caustic inside, so there's nothing that can burn. So I'll give you an example how they do it differently. In Sweden, they have spiked tires. In the asphalt, it breaks down the tar. The tar gets on the car first. They cannot start with an alkaline pre-wash. They need to start with a solvent to take down the tar and then pre-wash the car with an alkaline product. They have to do it completely different. It's completely unconventional, but there's no place in the world that can do it. So as you can see, I'm not touching the car. So Labocosmetica, or not Labocosmetica, Mafra is the inventor of the pre-wash. They are the first ones that made it. We do not touch the car before pre-wash or during. I think you know you want it. You really want to do the grill and with the brush and everything, but the brush hasn't any absorbing. The brush can't absorb, it can disperse. So if there's sand there, and you're dispersing sand over one spot on a very delicate surface, you scratch it. Microfibers, same thing, don't do it. Just do this, leave it, and wait. This dilution, I'm going to kick your ass if you don't do it, is 1 to 1,000. So it doesn't work if you go higher. The maximum you can go is 1 to 600. So that it means in a 10-liter bottle, in a 10-liter bucket, this one has a measurement on the side. You can see immediately you put 10 liters inside. It's like 3 caps, tops, and it needs to be a big car. This is basically, there are 2 more main things about the shampoo. One, it lubricates like crazy. That's why you don't want to go up to 1,000 because it becomes like another kind of lube where you use it for. That's very important, but also because it's such a concentrate. Look how jelly it is.
Yeah.
So if you do too thick, you will get a layer of this stuff on top of your car. That means you have to rinse for about an hour to get all the shampoo off. So the main treat is lubricant, and inside is a chemical that breaks down the lime. So it makes the lime smaller. So when the water runs down, there are less risks of water tracks, water spots forming on the car. That's the only thing what it needs to be doing. Because we are using this to get it clean. And we're using the other one to take down the minerals. So this needs to be lubricating and make sure the lime stays small enough so it doesn't dry into the surface, making the lines white. I'm loving my camera woman. It's amazing. It's amazing. Now, because it's an Italian product, to make it work, it's cappuccino. Well, it does work. It does work. And then you get like this semi-foamy solution. Ah, smells amazing. So now we can start basically rinsing the car. Can somebody rinse the car for me? Whatever you want to start. Go ahead, my friend. Maybe move a little bit closer and then see if we can see anything that's clear. Closely to the car, you can see that the water behavior is that the car's completely wet. There's no water running off. So that means the car's still not clean. Because if it's truly clean, water will start to shoot. It will give the idea that there's some protection there, but it's not just clean. So we need to get it clean. So now I'm taking Purifica, the acid shampoo, making also a 1 to 3 dilution, which I want to get around 1 to 60, 1 to 80. In my end dilution that's coming out of the foam gun. Now I'm not going to do the whole car again, we're just going to do a little bit of the front. It takes spares a little bit of time, but to give you an idea what it's going to do. Now I can imagine, for this is the true ceramic coating treatment to revitalize everything. To clean the ceramic coating so the ceramic coating starts performing as they want. This is the only way, of a nice way, without topping it off with a beading product that helps it bead again. Because we want the ceramic coat do what it does. They promise fucking 5 years. Yeah. So anything under 5 years is a failure, right? So Well, I'm betting that after this, we will see that the water will start breaking, and maybe even on the windshield, we will see some beading going on. Now, people always say to me, Reggie, but you put something in there that makes it bead. I said, no, it's not. It's just taking away, taking off. So I got my solution here with the Shampoo 1 to 1000. A nice wash mitt. I usually use a wash mitt for the body work. You have these combination wash mitts that allow you to do wheels and everything, but a detailer that uses the same wash for the body as for the wheels should become a baker or a butcher, but not a detailer. Spot on, my friend. Spot on. Maybe a little bit on the side. So this solution you leave on the surface. You can, because we did the pre-wash. You saw we're already in a very clean region. Different surfaces. We got some. Yeah, this used to be chrome, but now it's plastic with a layer of chrome on top. Thank you, China. Plastic, trim, plastic, glass. So we got different kinds of surfaces. Like I said, it's safe for every single surface. It's not a butt product. It's safe for every surface, but not wheels, but not the windows. But there's always a but. Now I need a volunteer that can explain what he's feeling. I already know what's going to feel. I need somebody to take this mitt and watch that what we have sprayed in with the Purifica. Who wants to go? Feel it.
Ah, die yellow wash mitt, hè? Bakjes.
Ik zit altijd maar ik val verkeerd met een shot.
Park hier, joh.
Tell me what you feel.
Smooth.
You feel smoothness.
Ja.
You feel any gripping, any fractions, any friction.
Not.
Very important. No friction means no scratch. Unless there's decontamination in the build, then we need to. Now, if you use a good pre-wash, the two-bucket system actually falls a little bit back to the background. Because you use the two-bucket system because your mitt is getting dirty.
Zo, is er nog iemand boven de beeld?
Look at you look at the yellow. See the yellow and you turn and contamination inside the yellow? There's nothing in there. That means the car is clean because there's nothing in it. So what we're taking down is that what we cannot see.
Ja.
Excuse me.
It's just a contamination testing. That's all.
Hier zo, ja. Hier zo.
Nou, dat is waar.
is a personal treat. It's something you have mastered yourself. It started with the first time you switched on this machine and you got scared about the way it was moving. The orbital swing, doing this on the car, made it feel like, ooh, this is very dangerous. It's very, this doesn't feel natural. But in fact, of course, this is the safest machine you can have, especially the, what's it called again? Free throw. So it's by itself. So you know this, when it starts going around angles, you get stalling. It only does the eccentric movement, the orbital swing. It doesn't do very much. It's a dual action. So this backing plate needs to be 100% without any wobbling. That wobbling is going to cause you stalling. It needs to run free. So if you buy a Rupes for the first time, you will see that it goes like this. It's because of the rubber ring inside. Now Rupes, if you are watching, and if flying fuck what you think, I think what I think is that if you remove that rubber ring, or you put a washer ring in between, and you make sure that backing plate spins like crazy, you will have more correction. I've been all over the world discussing this with Rupes trainers, all of them, and they all say the same: you will destroy the machine. My MK1 is now 8 years old, and the only thing that's happened is that the cable cord became shorter because of this part here. Because I'm an autistic guy, so I lift up the machine, and I put it down, and then I put it back again. And then I lift it up, so I'm constantly doing this. I'm never doing this somehow. I don't know why. OCD, autism, you name it. Nowadays the cars are becoming more difficult. They are changing the designs. We rarely see a flat panel. Sometimes it's the hood that has sections of flat. The roof may be a little bit of an arch, like a little bit of a bowl kind of shape. Also very fine, but most of them have these sharp edges inside. This machine has a 15mm swing. When you have the backing plate like this, on top of the machine, you see it's extending outside here. You see that's about 1.2 centimeters outside of the backing plate. The pressure point is there where the backing plate is pressing. There's nothing happening here. There's also nothing happening in the outside of the 15mm you see. Because if you see the machine go, you see two backing plates, or you see two foam pads. You see the one very clear, and the one a bit shady. And that shady one is the orbital swing, and in that orbital swing nothing is happening. That's why when you come close to edges, you will see no correction. You can't get in the edge, because it will start to stall. So nowadays I think it's very important that you master the rotary. Now I don't know what the culture is like in South Africa, but in the Netherlands, the new generation is scared of the rotary. They only know how to use this. They're not even thinking about using a rotary because they're scared of it, you know, as they were from this thing. But they don't have the balls to try it. They don't have it. So what they do is they buy more and more and more and more orbital machines. But if you really want to save time, and you do pre-cutting with a rotary, and you create a little bit of holograms, that last 15mm in the edge will take off, and it will save you so much time. You just curve the rotary inside the edge. Don't make it too hot. Just make the correction, wipe it down, kick it off with the orbital, and you're done. I've shown it to so many detailers, and they can't believe what they are seeing. But I'm old school. Before this, there was only rotary. So I always ask the question, you think we always finished with holograms? There was no perfect car in the world? It has just to do with technique. Doing. You can watch, I can tell about days about polishing, but it starts when you turn on the machine yourself. That's when it starts. Detailing also starts when you start washing your car for the first time. That is your process. It didn't start with this machine. It started with washing the car, when you can only see shine and no shine. Not even a swirl was there. You couldn't even see it because you were at the beginning. And then the swirls came, scratches came, the marring came, the micro marring came, and then the blast finish of the whitening came. Flat black. Sorry?
And then the headaches came.
The headaches. The headaches were in the full process. Migraines and stress. I'm not going to show you per se the machine or techniques or whatsoever. I just want to ask a couple of questions. Who does the up and down pass 2 times? You? Anybody else? You? All the left, right, up, down? And you do 2 passes like that? So you go 1 time up, down, left, right? 3, 4, 5. And can I ask you why?
Just one section of course.
Okay, very nice. Because that's what it happens. It might be, you have to respond to what you see. So on the bottles, it most say you can wipe off after it's become clear. That means sometimes with paint, the paint is reacting not very, very fast enough. It still might be white. That means there is potential to polish further. There's more to be done. So a fixed 1, 2 doesn't have to be it. It could be 1, 2, 3 that you have to do 3 passes, maybe 4. Depends on the paint, depends on the polish, depends on the pad. So don't fix it. Now there is an arrow on all of these machines telling you where it's going to spin. Why is that? Why is there a mark here that says to me the machine is spinning this way? Why is that?
Edges.
Sorry?
Edges.
Edges, could be. Because I have no flying fucking idea. I have no idea why it's there. But I'm always asking this question, but maybe I found someone that actually knows, you know, but why is there a spinning direction? So I know it's going to spin that way. Now I have a theory. I met this guy in Japan, from Japan, not in Japan, I asked me to go to Japan because I love Dragon Ball Z. I asked the guy what he was doing, and the guy had a very special technique. He said to me that because of the spinning of the machine, you have it like this, and the direction it's spinning is that way. That means it moves very easy that way. So your pass to the left is doing much less than you pass to the right, against the spin of the machine, creating more friction. And sometimes you see you do like the pass, and you go to the right, and you see nothing, and when you go to the left, it's like dispersing the polish again. Now this is very nice to know. But if you know it's dispersing the product again, what's inside the pad, you might want to focus on going that way. If you do full power, right, left, you will create heat on the spot. That heat will cause the paint to stretch, giving you a false result. Immediately after the polishing process, it might look that everything is gone. And then when you wait 5 minutes and the paint cools down, you see the scratches come back. Now, especially with the new paints, I don't know if you know, but new car manufacturers are using a sort of a powder coat to do the finish of the car, the clear coat. You can see it in the structure. It looks a little bit like powder coat. It's even thicker. It used to be like 110 microns on a very good car. Now Audi starts with 200. So that means there's much more there. Now if you want to correct something like that, and you focus only on going from left, half pad up to right with the same power, you might heat up the surface too much and get a distorted result or true of a false result. So what I do is when I polish a machine, I apply a little bit of pressure, a little less than 2 kilograms. Like I said, I'm the laziest guy in the world. A little bit, very easy, and I focus on going to the right. When I'm going to the left, I let the machine go and go to the left and redisperse the product. This is also an option. This is also an option. I don't care. If you go up, down, left, right, just make sure that when you go to the right, against the friction of the machine, that's where your focus should be. That's where the most cutting goes. And when you go slowly to the left, you're not cooling, or you're not reheating the surface again. So you're cooling down. So you can do more in less time. What I wanted to show only, not per se, if we can finish this car, because we can always finish this car. It doesn't need to be with this. I can do it on any compound in the world, no problem. What I wanted to show is that this machine, this polish, has that technology in there that gives you, maybe I can show it like this. If you look at this, this is a scale, and it gives you the color of the pad, what the pad can do. You see that a hard cut, this is the hard cut, they say. This is what Mafra decided is the hard cut. It can go from cutting to semi-polishing. So that means that Mafra says you can't polish with this. But I can tell you that on most of the German paints, you can even go like this. I base this on experience. So don't ever believe that the pad has only this capability. You will find it out when you test this for yourself. Doesn't matter which pad. But these microfiber pads are something else. The short-haired and long-haired gives you an extreme edge. They are very durable, not per se, this one also very durable, but in general, these microfiber pads are truly the future. You see wool disappearing to the back. It's becoming less and less popular, at least in Europe. I know in China they only use wool. In India they only use wool. These discs, 12-inch, double-sided, M14. When you finish the one, you flip it, you go on the other side, and I think there's one complete sheet in every pad. 100%. So much wool I've never seen in my life. Now with the polishing it's exactly the same. The old system will say you can cut till here with the polish and end here, and then you need to follow up with the fine, the superfine, and the medium. With the Audace line, you're in the cutting phase, but you can also go as close to the finishing. Because of the deteriorating of the powder, it allows you to finish with a finish-like result, maybe some micro marring. And why is this important? If you have a car that's swirled up so bad, and you create marring, You do not know if the swirls are gone because you see the marring. You do not know if the swirls are there. The marring could be so bad that the swirls are being hidden. It will also give you a distorted result because if there's a scratch, the reflection of the light will not allow you to see the scratch. So the most important thing is after a compound phase is that you are close to a finish so you can see that you actually achieved the result you want. This will save you time. Because if you're very close to a finish, maybe it's enough for the customer what he wants, and maybe you have to do one more step to finish it to perfection. So we are not going from 5 steps, 4 steps, it could be done in 2. Rarely you see that when you need all 3. Rarely. Maybe it's during the assessment that you find out you only need 1. And if you need a ceramic coating, you use the super refinisher, or it's not necessary because the only thing you need to do after this process is wipe down. And you wipe down not with IPA. I'll tell you why. Most of the manufacturers found out we are using IPA. So they put something in there that is rejective against IPA. You have to IPA like 4 or 5 times to take off all that residue that's still there, giving you the true result. There's a video online from Kelly Harris from KDS, Caltech. He's a brilliant man. He gave from the body shop to detailing. He knows this wing. He knows it from up bare metal to sanding, spraying, finishing, polishing, protecting. I think he's the most experienced guy of them all. He showed a video where he did a panel and he sanded it with 1500. And he used 7 different products. And then he used all the degreasers. And he started with IPA. Then he went to a conventional body shop degreaser. And then he went to the true panel wipe. And after this test, the IPA didn't show the true result. Although one was a speed wax, one was an all-in-one, one was a true compound, and one was something else. By the time he get to the panel wipe, he took everything off. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. It was all 1500, 1500, 1500. You can watch this video for yourself. It's with I believe with a Toyota Supra in it. Kelly Harris, KDS Teltec. Watch it for yourself and be amazed. I've shared it 1,000 times, but people don't believe me, and then they, video. But this is very important. Because if this true result is not there, and there's something on there, and you're using a ceramic with a solvent in it, that solvent might be strong enough to take off that what's been hidden. So you think you have a perfect result, you start ceramic coating the car, wiping it down, and you look at it, and it looks like the ceramic coating just scratched the whole car. But what actually happened was, it was taking down that what they want you to hide, but they don't tell you, because it says on all these fucking bottles, no fillers inside. No, of course you're not going to tell there's fillers inside. Of course. Nobody would buy it if there's a filler inside. But a filler, per se as an ingredient, can also be a lubricant. A lubricant with filling capabilities. But they won't tell you.
Yeah.
You know? So it's very important. That's why we have a product, Veritas, that's strong enough not to be used by children or whatsoever. It's a professional product. But this product will help you reveal the true result. Because Veritas is the Latin word for truth. There's always there's something behind the name, Veritas, truth. So I'm just going to polish a little bit, because this is your job. This is what the customer cannot do. If you perfect this, you can make real money. You can make money of ceramic coatings, lying to them about 10 years protection, never wash your car again, self-healing. But that's not where the money is. You want a returning customer that trusts you to give true result. And I know very little details that do true result. They always shimmy. They will do something, they will find out that the paint correction is too hard. They will use a product to hide that last finish. So they could put on a ceramic coating. But they trusted the customer to say, you did a full paint correction. So that's lying. And lying in this business will cost you customers. One promise you break will cost you. One fault through the paint will cost you. You can do 100 cars perfectly, and do one wrong, nobody will forget the one car that went wrong. The 100 cars that went right, they forgot. They don't know even, they forgot about it. And it's always being discussed on birthdays and parties. Hey man, what happened to your car? I brought it to shit detail, man. You fucked up my car. So it goes around, mouth to mouth, you lose customers, you lose trust, you lose your integrity. Same as brand hopping. You choose a brand, or you stand behind the brand or not. You know, if you jump from brand to brand to brand, you say this day Labocosmetica is the best. Next week you say Camel Guys is the best. Next week Heon is the best. You lose your integrity. People can't rely on you. But you said that was the best, and now this is the best. And if you don't have a story, maybe it's true that the product's better, But you have to be true and say, okay, this product was good, but we found something better because of this and this and this. Because you are the professional. He's trusting you with his pride and joy. If you cannot take him by his hand and comfort him with what you are going to do, he's going to have false expectations. His expectations should be here. Your standard delivery should be here. He should always be crying when he picks up his car from happiness. He should always come inside and say, oh my God, is that my car? Oh my God, I want to... Don't touch the car. Yeah? That's what happens. Like I said, just going to do a small demo because the only thing I want you to show is the low dust technology. I think that's the biggest trait. Compound is fantastic. It cuts from, my record is now on a BMW paint 2004. Anybody that knows 2004 BMW, that's a nasty paint. That's difficult. 1,000 grit sanding back to semi-finished in one hit. Because of the technique, because of the pressure, because of all these variables. So it does not mean that what I am doing you will be able to copy, but through the experience of the product itself, you will be able to feel, understand, okay, this is what happened, this is what happening. You memorize it, or you keep a logbook. It was the 13th of May. I was polishing the car. I tried out Dutch, something like this. So you remind yourself what happened that day. Because you make the mistake, but if you make the same mistake twice, you're an idiot.
Labocosmetica. Labocosmetica.
So I skipped a part from the presentation because I wanted to show you immediately when I tell it. I'm first going to tell you a little bit how Labocosmetica divides the certain segments of the coating. The reason is because we did a different approach to explain a little bit more what the coating is at. Because if you finish a car with a ceramic coating, it's really difficult to prove it's there. Because you can't make paint thickness gauges go, I'd have to do 9 layers, ceramic pro. Sorry. And so we divided these into a chemical content and a physical content. Now what I have here in my hand is the Blindo, and this is a 100% physical coating. That means that when you put it on the surface, there's actually something physically there. It will also not be able to be removed with washing. You can damage it, you can scratch it, but it's impossible to remove through washing and abrasion. Yeah, you need a really good polisher and a really good compound to get it off. That's what physical means. And when we talk about chemical, we talk about the product that closes the ceramic coating, so it's protected against chemical agents. Physical coatings have this tendency to be a little bit rough, so that roughness may cause soaps to stick into the coating and dry out. So you will get marks. A physical coating, when you feel it, feels rigid. You use a microfiber and you apply ceramic coating here, with a physical one, it's like sliding, and it's like running into a wall. You can't get the microfiber to drag over the surface very nicely. So to close that, you do that with a chemical coating. That chemical coating will ensure that the surface is so smooth that there's less grip for anything else to create a scratch. Now I know you guys heard about 9H and everything, so I'm telling you a little bit about the 9H. In the ISO 15841, there's a test where they say that you cannot test pencil hardness on substrates for coatings. It's impossible. The reason why is because of the chemical coatings. They create such a smoothness that the pencil itself cannot get a grip into the coating. It's too smooth. The pencil is like sharpened, but they take an edge off. So you have like a little round circle. And that bottom round, they do it in a machine, stick in the pencil, it's pressing down 1 kilogram, and they drag it over the surface. So it gives you then the idea that if it doesn't make a scratch with 9H, that the coating is 9H hard. That's not true. It just doesn't get a grip into the surface. So many coatings can claim they are 9H because the pencil doesn't scratch, but when you do it with your hand, it still scratches. So to get full closure, the top of the top, you take a 100% 100% physical coating with, where are you? Here you are. 100% chemical coating. These two together will close the system, and you will have the full possible protection ceramic coating device. Now, of course, there is the possibility of taking on a hybrid, so where a percentage of the content is physical and a percentage of the content is chemical. To blend it in together, then if you look at STC is 70% physical, 30% chemical. So this has more aspects of chemical protection in it. But still, because it's so much physical, it will still give a rigid-like surface. It feels smooth, But you can feel there, yeah, that's like, it's a feeling, you know, it's not really smooth. Because if it's really smooth, you would see a spider trying to climb up the hood, and he takes 2 steps and he slides 4 steps back. So he will never get on top. Another example of a hybrid is Sam. He, she, the coating just the other way around. So 80% of the content is against chemical protection, so chemical coating, and 20% physical. Now it says here, Sam is a self-assembled monolayer. Now I've read Wikipedia about 25 times, but I can still not explain to you what it actually is. But it comes down to this. The blend inside here, in combination with oxygen and touching the surface, will build itself to a layer. So this ceramic will perform at its best after 3 or 4 days when the chemical process is done. So we will have nice hydrophobicity, somewhat physical protection against abrasion, you know, touching and washing and everything. But if you want 100% full protection, then something like Blindo in combination with HPC, or STC in combination with HPC. Now, STC can also be used as a standalone for rims, stuff like that, but I do not recommend to put it on the body itself because it doesn't give the beads. It gives a nice sheeting, but people want the beads. Somehow they're addicted to the beads. Fine, then you do the top coat on top and you got the beads. The tricky thing about this is that when something becomes physical, then you also have the risks. Because if you let it dry in, and you can see right here, on this part, I took Blindo and I did not wipe it off. So this would be a complete nightmare if this happened to you. This is STC. You can see that STC is this morning. See, the closure is not complete, so the chemical is not closed enough, so you will still have the greasiness, but I can't remove it with my finger. This one I can remove with my finger as well. You can see I can damage it because it's not closed, but I can't remove it, so it's a nightmare. What we did is, we made something. This is my guardian angel. Since I have this product, ceramic coating is not a scary thing for me anymore. I don't have to worry about making mistakes, because I need a fail-safe, like I forgive you technology. Basically what Labocosmetica said. I wanted to call it AFU, anti-fuck-up, but that didn't land well with everybody, so let's stick to the I forgive you technology. Inside this product there are a couple of knowledges. There's alcohol, methanol, ethanol, somewhat a combination of these 3. This product will give you a backup that if you leave Blindo like this for 24 hours, you can still remove it. Because it has no chemical protection. So if it's chemically protected, alkaline doesn't harm it anymore, acid doesn't harm it anymore, and solvent doesn't harm it anymore. So you can imagine that with STC, the combination of 70-30, there's chemical protection in there. So you have less time. It's like 16 hours is my record, depending on humidity, but around 16 hours. So Blindo 24, STC 16, and SAM and HPC, of course, 100% chemical. When this is closed, you can throw anything on it. I know a couple of tricks to do it, but it takes a long time. But you have around 6 hours. But this is also, the less physical ones are also the most easy one to apply. Before Blindo Plus, there was Blindo. And Blindo was extremely hard. But the market is shifting. People want fast, easy, simple, cheap. Now that's 4 of the most worst things I can ask from a detailer, that he needs a fast detail, like we did today. It's extremely fast. Easy and simple. Yeah, if it's too simple to apply, how am I going to ensure that it's going to be there for the promise of maybe 5, 6, 7 years? The 10,000 washes, all the guarantees they give. So the installation itself needs to be perfect. So when you clean a car, you polish a car, you wipe it down with Veritas. You dilute it 1 to 3 to make sure there's nothing there. This is a nano protection. If there's micro between the nano, there will be no linking. So you have a diminishing result. You will never achieve the promise that the manufacturer made. Of course, the promise is also coming from a certain laboratory circumstances. Well, I can tell you we're not in a laboratory right now. It's not conditioned. This is South Africa, so the temperature will shift. And the summer is going to become hotter, and the winter is going to become colder. When it's raining, we have more humidity, all these things. They're all factors. So what I suggest is, first I'm going to show you what Veritas does, because you need to see this. It's going to make your life a lot easier.
think, there you go.
Yeah. Is it a leveling agent?
Are you feeling what I'm feeling right now?
Yeah.
Do you feel a certain form of liberation?
Yeah.
Can you remember that time where you got that high spot that was not going away and that you thought, oh my God, I had to do the whole panel again? This is your guardian angel. This is the one that's going to save you. So, like I said, you can see the coating sitting here, right here. It's it's like here, you can see it. The Blindo is not like a normal ceramic. It's a special kind of resin. This resin is also very flexible because, you know, cars working. If you put something that's really ceramic, there's no room for flex because it would break. Yeah, we saw with the Porsche garage, we saw the brakes. Those had torque in it, they break. When they go straight and you press it, there's nothing you can destroy it. They're bikkel hard. Dutch for very hard. So now we're going to try STC. If you have a really thick layer of Blindo, you can even see the bubbling coming up, and you will see it starting to
Almost
dissolve.
like a paint stripper.
It's exactly like a paint strip. Only as you can smell, it smells fantastic. Some people are addicted to this stuff, they look like this, but I suggest that these kind of solvents need a little bit of more protection, especially if you use them a lot. So like a spray guy, if you use a spray can every once in a while, it's okay to not ventilate. But if you use it every day, it's time to ventilate. There we go.
Chick is actually flaking up.
And this is from this morning. So the first thing I got here this morning was put on the coat and then just didn't wipe it off, because of course you will never create something like this. Again, if you create something like this, maybe butcher or baker or accountant is maybe something better.
Yet another detail.
Yeah. So that's what Veritas does. If you want to degrease your surface and get rid of the oils and everything, the lubrication from the polish, dilute this. Now, because it's so powerful, for me it's very difficult to accept that people that can buy this at the web shop, because I do not believe this should be in the hands of an end user. But every country is free to do how they do their web e-commerce and everything, but I'd rather have this in the hands of the professional. This is also a weapon. Nobody else in the competition has something like this. So you are very limited, and this works on every ceramic. So if you find out if something is physical or chemical, like this, you can make it go around. There's 10 drops of the stuff in here. This is the original state, and then you can feel inside that the suede went hard. If something becomes hard in the suede, then you can assume that it's a physical coating. It's very important. So if somebody says this is a ceramic coating 9/8 hard, then why is that cloth not getting hard? That cloth needs to get hard. There needs to be something inside of that ceramic that hardens out, that creates a physical layer. So now I'm going to move on to a demonstration of an application technique. You are free to do it as you please. If you have a certain way of working, certain parts where you want to start, it's fine by me. The only thing you need to know is when to wipe off, basically. And now I'm going to come to the most important part. High spots. You see I'm wearing gloves as well. That's because it's nano. I don't want, micro can go into my skin, that means that nano is going to go in my skin as well. There's a lot of these pictograms here that will warn you about the risks. Please follow this. I don't want you to die from some strange disease that nobody has ever heard of. So what I always do when I apply ceramic is I do a little test, because I need to know when to wipe off. Some of them have triggers. STC will give you a rainbow. It's like a purplish green rainbow. It's a good visual reference that you can see that the coating has length and that it's time to wipe off. But to ensure the maximum potency of the coating, you try to leave it at the surface as long as possible to get it to link as fast as well. It could be that in autumn, when it's humid, that the coating will react immediately, giving you, when I tell you wipe off when the rainbow is, that could be in 10 seconds. So we're going to do a small demonstration in what I always do, and I know some of you read the instructions and read the instructions. They always claim room temperature, 17 degrees, 18 degrees, like 50% humidity or less. But I've traveled the whole world, and trust me, there are many places where it's impossible to get to 50% humidity. I mean, we have to close down and de-vacuum and everything, and then hopefully it gets down to 50. So instead of trying to create circumstances that's almost impossible to create in certain countries of the world, I want to teach you something that you can use always. So what we do is, this is a good one. Make sure that all the shards are gone, because if a shard of ceramic gets in here, you're going to drag a shard of physical coating into your paint. So I do about 10 drops. So I apply evenly. The once up down, once left right. Not more, because I don't want the catalyzation to start too fast. Because if you do too much, you're dividing too much, there's no time, it will start to dry in immediately. It's basically for all ceramics. This also has a very heavy smell. Holy crap. So normally I would now put on stopwatch. You know, it could be spring in the Netherlands, because SEC behaves differently every season. Blindo is basically the same. You can do Blindo in 4 degrees. You can put it in the refrigerator, it will harden out. You can put it in water, it will harden out, because it's 100% physical. 89% of the bottle is actual Blindo. No solvents inside, just the stuff to keep it from getting hard. So a couple of seconds have passed. I'm just going to microfiber. And this still goes very easy. So now I wait another 30 seconds and then wait till the moment comes that it becomes tacky. So obviously I'm not going to do this on a customer's car. I'm going to do it on a panel that I have lying around so I can see the reaction, what's going on. So you wait another 30 seconds and then you wipe off again. And I can still feel it's very comfortable. Very nice. I like it very much. Now if you have high spots, I'm going to tell you whose fault it is that there are high spots. It is always your fault. Always. You can never blame a ceramic brand for creating high spots, because you're the one wiping it off. Exactly. If you do not wipe off, I see some guys, they drag it from the microfiber from here to the end. Now what happens if I put my hand here? Is this part going to get wet? Everything is going to be here on the front. So it's going to accumulate coating and probably get saturated and then reapply what you're taking off, leaving a very thin layer that's going to dry in immediately. So your focus should be 100% on that first microfiber. That first microfiber needs to take down the coating. I think we're already gone for 30 seconds. Still very comfortable. So this means that I only have 2 minutes in these conditions that I can wait before I wipe off, before it becomes tacky and starts to be uncomfortable, because it doesn't need to be uncomfortable. It needs to be relaxed. You know, you have your guardian angel, fine, but this is backup. Yeah, you're focusing on one job. You know the stuff is very expensive. You don't want to waste anything. It's very important. So this technique I'm using is you flip the towel as much as you can. And I'll tell you honestly, when I do a ceramic coating, I have standby minimal 25 microfibers. 25. Because I know the guys. I know they need 10. And they just keep flipping and then they forget the part that they flipped. Coating inside is already getting hard, and then they have a hard microfiber, they're trying to remove coating, and it's going to be one greasy nightmare. And then you get high spots. Now we're a little bit further. Now it's becoming tacky. You can see that it's difficult, becoming difficult. So I got more than 2 minutes. That means I can maybe do half a hood at a time. Half a fender, half a screen, half a door. So it will allow you to plan your coating better. Now if it takes 30 seconds to become tacky, that only means you have to do smaller sections. So if you do a section like this, you don't have to worry if I cross this section again, that it's going to become dark immediately. It only happens when the coating is closed. So when the first 24 hours are done, coating is closed and you layer it up, then you will see black and darker and lighter. In the beginning there's no issue. Even with Blindo, there's no issue. The initial closure is 24 hours later. After that, you might have darkening. So I want to wipe this off a little bit. It's still doable, but you don't want to take any risks, because friction is dangerous. I mean, this swathe is already something that I think, well, you know, it's smooth, but get one shard of in here, you drag it once, you will see the stripe going, and you can polish it again. No time for that. Let me open up this one, because I will show you the visual reference for SAM as well, and for HPC, because they are similar, only HPC is missing the physical contact to give a little bit of protection against abrasion. Can I use the same microfiber? I'm just right. I think I can. Dutch guy, don't want to waste anything. Takes too much money. I mean, when I initially do, I soak it. So everybody does 10 drops, streak, 10 drops streak, I don't do it. I soak it once and I add drops if I feel necessary. With this one, it's not going to become hard. STC might become hard after 2 hours. So if you take 2 hours for the coating, Blindo, if it's not taking in the product anymore, throw the cloth away because it's not absorbing anymore. It's already starting to close. You can feel it in the cloth that's going around. Now, the visual reference for HPC and SAM, it will take a couple of seconds, but you have, exactly, there are very tiny bubbles. That means the product is going down, the solvent's going up. And you see in the streaks, microscopic little bubbles. So you need to apply this richly. Dutch guys tend to be so fucking cheap that they spread it out and they don't get the bubbles. So there are parts that are already drying in, parts that are not drying in. What they are doing is creating high spots. And these high spots from these coatings will not be visible in fluorescent light. They will not be visible with your scan grip. They will not be visible with anything. It will be visible when you drive it outside and you see daylight. That floodlight, that completely coming from all sides, 2700 Kelvin or whatsoever, is going to come on the car and you will see the high spots everywhere. So in between layers, if you are so secure of yourself, do the second coat. If you're not, make sure you get the car a little bit outside or a little bit in daylight so you can find the high spots. Because if you do a 2-layer coating, you drive it outside, you see high spots, which one is it? You're screwed. You have to take both down. The Blindo is in 30 milliliters, so you don't have much failure to work with. It's already expensive enough, and it's pro car. Now you can see the bubbles forming here. You're welcome to come close and see. This is your visual reference. But I can leave this, I promise you, for minimum 10 minutes. It will not happen. My best test was at 27 degrees, 60% humidity, 43 minutes in Saudi Arabia. And I could still wipe it off. Yes, it was not fun. Yes, it was not comfortable, but it could still be done. So the more chemical it is, the easier the application. But also the danger of making high spots. The other ones, high spots are a little bit difficult because Blindo is like a clear liquid. So it will clear up just like here. It stuck to my phone. The old Blindo did not do that, so this was actually a good test. So it sticks to glass as well, but don't smear it on the glass, please. So with the easiest one, you have more room for error. The only room you don't have is that you can't wait too long. So you'll have like 6 hours to correct your mistake with Veritas. The other ones you don't have too long with the application, but you have the larger window to remove them when you make a mistake. And this is basically what you do. If you do it like this, every single time, don't forget about the last time. Forget about how much humidity it was. It might just be a small variable that's going to change everything, making the taking down a lot difficult. And you don't want that. We are in the final stage. We just spent, on this car, but we spent like 10-20 hours of polishing. There's no room for error anymore because it's on your dime. Every extra hour you spend making that car look better is out of the quotation. You fix the price for the ceramic. You fix the price for the time you are allowed to do for the ceramic. If you drop down 2-3 hours, you're losing money. So this process will help you make less mistakes. And like I said, make sure you got a shitload of microfiber that when you feel, I don't know which one it is, gone. Take cheap microfiber. Microfiber that doesn't lint. Take microfiber that is that you can throw away, that doesn't hurt in the wallet, and make sure it's in the quotation. So do not only charge the kit, but also charge the microfiber. It's not a big deal. They are willing to pay for it everywhere in the world where I go. They rather have a perfect installation than a guy that's cheap enough to use 2 microfibers to go around the car. Because the danger is some of these kits get supplied with 3 microfibers. And they automatically think, oh, I have to do it with 3 microfibers. And then you're screwed. So it's all about la caccia del perfezione, the hunt for perfection. And this is a process. Like you started washing, this was for your first detailing process when you start washing your first car. That's where it started. Same with ceramic. It starts with finding a technique. Make sure that when you apply, it's like I applied like this. So don't start from here. Work away from yourself. Find your favorite arm. I'm a lefty, so I love to go like this. Don't do it like this. It's too dangerous. You have maybe a couple of seconds extra, and then it's over. It dries in immediately. Do it with round shapes. Flip the towel. You can see it's accumulating. I can't use this part anymore. It's impossible. If I use this part again, there it goes. Eye spot. One white eye spot. Another eye spot. Now, and if you do it really good, You will not see that high spot unless you take it outside. Questions? This is a lot of information.
Is it okay to wipe side to side?
No problem. Just make sure that when the first wipe is done, it's gone. You do a second microfiber, but that second microfiber is, I would say, to give peace inside. To confirm to yourself it's really gone. Even though you didn't see it, even though you're convinced yourself, no, I took everything off. No. Take another microfiber, take for the coating to remove the first time, always the short pile microfiber, never use the long ones, because they can stick in, they lint, they all lint. There's only one towel in the world that doesn't lint, and it's from Korea, it's from?
Clean.
That's it. But try to get that towel, it's impossible. So they all lint. So don't worry if the car seems like it's getting a fur, because all the linting is there. The lint will always go away, but make sure that when you remove coating, use a short pile microfiber. And then for the HPC and the SAM, use a high microfiber, because that's the easiest way to remove high spots. This one is too short and it doesn't have enough brush effect. If you have like long fibers, you have like millions and millions of fibers extra that can take off the high spots in the corners. Even though you forget them about 10 minutes later, it feels very gentle, especially if it's like a thick microfiber. You just drag it over the surface is completely smooth because of the ceramic, and you will have a lot of fun sliding that microfiber all over the paint. You don't have to change that microfiber, it's just one microfiber for the whole car. For these you need about, make sure you got backup. I'm not saying you need 25, but make sure you have enough. That whatever happens, you can finish that car in one time. There's no room for error. You don't want to polish a car that you just polished. You don't want. Nobody's paying for that. Nobody's paying for your mistakes. They're only paying for your success. That's basically what ceramic coating from Labocosmetica is. Tell yourself, like I said, the 3 pH maintenance system was tested on all ceramics in the world that we can get our hands on. Then we started making ceramics. Now this vision about chemical and physical is that we are the only ones that do it. Because this is something I can explain to the customer. I can show him a shard of Blindo, like I did here on my phone. You know, I saved it, but I threw it away in a pack of cigarettes. Fucking idiot. But I had it in my hand, and this shard was beautiful because I could hold the shard, I can make the shard bend, I could show it to you, and we were clear to each other. There was no obstruction. It's 100% clear. As a visual reference to the customer, this is what you're going to get.
I saw that with him.
Yeah.
Very flexible.
This is what you're going to get. You can do the same thing with STC. STC will show a little bit different because it's like 30% chemical protection, so you will see a different kind of clarity. But like Blindo is 100% though, so there's no chemical protection, so it's 100% clear. It will also give you I think the most brightest, it's like an extra layer of clear coat. Now what I know from Blindo is that you can polish Blindo. And if you do gently, you go no further than a medium compound. You can polish it, apply a new top coat like HPC, set the car out. To give you an example, I did an Audi A3. Took me about 4 days to correct it. It was a nightmare paint. After that, Blindo, HPC. I let it go for a year. He says I got a new show. I said, well, I'll freshen you up. Take the car in. Took me about 4 hours to completely clear the car. Blindo was still there. You can test it a little bit with Veritas, when you Veritas on the surface. If Veritas starts to bead in a dilution, it starts to bead, that means the coating is still there. If it flattens out, that means the coating is gone. It's like a highlighter for, and if the coating is still active. Because if it's still active, it will start to bead. If it doesn't bead, it's flat, it's died, it's dead. So if you find something that I showed you today, and you manage to improve about what I said, do not hesitate and contact me. I do this with all details where I go, and every once in a while somebody shoots me a tip, and I can shoot that tip all over the world. We're going to shoot it to 27 countries, so 27 countries full of details using Labocosmetica can improve their skills. Don't think you're doing something special. You're doing exactly the same as the other guy. The only difference between you is you're pretty fast, and that guy's really slow. But in the end, a perfect car is always going to be a perfect car, right?
Yo, yo, I'm like an addict, do I gotta have it. I ain't even playing, got a really bad habit. If it moves, gotta grab it, fuse like a magnet. Lose, won't have it till I'm doomed in a casket. I ain't playing, got a weird mind. If you work 8 hours, I'ma work 9. If the shoot tastes sour, you should taste mine. I'ma stay in power for a long time. Get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer. Rising the song to the highest bidder. Got juice, got gas, I'ma move fast. New shoes, new tracks, like who's that? I'm new, come back, better than last. Yeah, it's a new me, never gonna look back. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes. Pieces is a form of art. I'm never gonna look back. Cause damn, I was built to last. You move slow and I move fast, and that's facts. Only I can make a change. Slowly take a step today. I will never be the same. Cause that's what it takes.
In South Africa, all the way from Netherlands. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I just want to hear a little bit from you and how you first got into detailing and what's your passion about detailing, and also what can you say you enjoy the most in your detailing career?
Okay, so my detailing career officially started in 1999 when I was working for a car cleaning company. It's one of my first jobs after coming out of school. I immediately got hooked because there is, in my opinion, not a more rewarding job than a detailer. You can turn something that's completely looking like scrap and turn it into something that is tremendously beautiful. After that, I started doing it for myself, just handling the cars for my family, my friends, small business, doing that. I've never been registered truly at the Chamber of Commerce, so all my work has been done from mouth to mouth, and that grew out to something very special. And at one point in my village, I was the go-to guy. So at one point, I spent a lot of time in the military, about 11 years, from 2001 to 2011.
Interesting.
Thank you. And did a couple of tours in Afghanistan, and after that I need to find a way to do what I like. So I took a little bit of jobs in transportation. I've got all driver's license, so I'm free to move anywhere. But then in 2018, I met a beautiful guy named Marco Mattioli. He offered me a job, and since 2019, I've been flying around all over the world.
How did you get to meet Marco? How did you get into Labocosmetica, and what made you decide that Labocosmetica was the perfect product to make you achieve your amazing skills?
That's a very good question, because I'm a very I don't trust people very well. So you can claim something to me, but I need proof. Two friends of mine were trying to get a private label through a different kind of company, and in this way I got affiliated with the product and met Marco for the first time. After doing some research, I figured out that Mafra, what the mother company of Labocosmetica is that it was founded in '65, and it is a 100% family-run company. And after I spent there for a week, I realized that there are like 50 people running a 20 million turnover euro plus company, and I was completely amazed about how small the team is and how much they managed to achieve. We figured out that there were, worldwide, there are 27 countries that have importations through Mafra and through Labocosmetica. And yeah, when I saw the products, I saw something that I've never seen before. There was no aim for sales. There was, of course, sales are important, but their aim was to make products that the world has never seen before. And after that, I was completely hooked. I was addicted even more than I was before. It's amazing.
That is awesome. So, Reggie, tell me a little bit more about your favorite part in the process of detailing, since the day that you get the customer in all the way to giving the car over to the customer.
Well, of course, if you get the recognition from the customer that your job has been done, is of course the most rewarding. Money is simply just to make it cost effective, but I think most of the time I really get, you know, when I see a dirty car, the washing, I think the washing, yeah, okay, that needs to be done, and you need to polish, and if the paint is really bad, then the polishing is very nice. But I think from the moment the car has been finished with polishing, and doesn't matter what kinds of protection it goes on, that final stage is my favorite stage. So from the polishing point on, then protecting the car either with a wax, with the hand, sealant, ceramic coating, but eventually the receiving of the car to the customer. The reaction on their faces is unbelievable, especially when you did a really good job. I have to say, I've never had a customer that wasn't surprised or wasn't blown away. I take very much pride in my work to make sure that my expectation level of his expectation, I exceed his expectation level very much, so that he is really, that he knows that he got worth for his money and knows that his car is in the right hands.
I can just imagine that's just seeing the customer so happy probably just makes your heart warm.
Yes, definitely.
I can imagine. So, Reggie, just an opinion from your side. I mean, there's so many products on the market, and if you're just an up and starting detailer and you've got that passion, what would you tell a detailer to look at when looking at a product range?
Okay.
What makes them different? Why use a certain product range?
Well, it's a little bit difficult to say because it depends a little bit on what country you're in. So the culture of the detailing, is it already starting? Is it already ongoing? Are you the first detailer in the country? I think you look at what kind of a customers you're going to get. I know countries where people do not give much about their car. So detailing is then something difficult and you have to convince the customer to do something like this. But if I say which kind of a product, I would say just start trying, because in the end you will find a product that will suit you.
Yeah.
It's not like everything here is the only thing I have. I have many brands in the closet. I need to have them. I have many different pads from many different manufacturers, but that's because there's a solution for every problem. And if one brand could close everything, then everybody would just use one brand. But there are benefits. Some of them are less effective, some of them are amazing. But these combinations, you have to find your way. It's like a process. We all detail the car. We all do it in a certain way. We all polish it. We all correct it. But the way you do it and the amount of time you spend or the concentration you have. I know guys that can do it in 4 hours. I know guys that do it in 20 hours. I mean, it's not up to me. You know, it's what they feel like to do and what they expect from their customer or what the customer expects from them.
Of course. And Reggie, in your opinion, what makes a detailer a professional?
So what I think truly a professional is the one that takes the customer by his hand, explains him everything he's going to do, make sure it's on the quotation, and make sure that the work he has done has been proven by the customer that it has been done. So don't just deliver the car to a customer, but make sure he sees the work you did, the amount of time you spent. Make sure he values what you did. So that's why you always find the right customer. The guy that doesn't care that you did the inside of the door, that might not be your next customer. Maybe it's just the guy that you freshen up the car with and just take it for what it is. But a true professional will take the customer and will give him what he needs and not what he wants.
Of course.
Because every car is different, every clear coat is different. It might be that the car is perfect in pristine condition. Then we'll never do a 3-stage polishing process. We'll just give him, I said, sir, I can do it with a small touch-up. So I think most professional is that the detailer himself needs to love cars more than the owner.
Yeah.
So when he has an expectation level, that he always over exceeds that expectation. So if the customer thinks I'm taking good care of my car, without taking down the customer said, sir, now, and the thing's full of swirls or something, no, just take him by his hand and make sure that he sees what has been done.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if I have to speak as a consumer myself, I would definitely trust someone who's more real with me and more truthful with me than trying to make everything rainbow and flowers when it's
Excellent.
not that way. I feel a lot more comfortable when someone is straight up with me.
Yeah, I think it's very important because in the long run, you want the customer to come back.
For sure.
And a returning customer is a happy customer. And a
Exactly.
customer that waves you goodbye for once is a customer you've lost.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Reggie. I think I've got one last question that I think we're all dying to hear is how was your experience in South Africa and what would you say about the detailing industry in South Africa?
So from all the trips I made, and I'm not gonna say that the other trips were not fine, but this trip was out of this world. It started with a safari. I get to ride next to a Dakar driver in a Dakar car, the Dakar rally car. I've met amazing people here. I feel like a barbarian the way how polite you all are compared to us, I have to say. And I think this is a country I really, really want to come back to very, very soon.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Reggie. It
You're
was
welcome.
amazing to have you here and we hope we're going to see you in a few months.
Definitely,
Eh?
100%.
Unless you have already thrown away your passport.
Yes, I'm gonna thinking about throwing away my passport and ask for asylum because I think it's beautiful here.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you soon again.
Definitely.
Labocosmetica, the best hands for the best cars.